If you were the Space Jam aliens, which athlete's powers would you take?
Super high jump.
Mike Tyson.
What is happening?
Man, I was very excited to do this podcast. That answer just went so many different directions. No, let's not get into that. Well, let's get into it.
Super high jump. Which athlete is that?
I don't know. Wait, what was the question?
Space Jam.
You know the aliens from... Have you seen Space Jam?
Yeah, like a long time ago.
Right.
With Michael Jordan? Yeah,
like
but it's a classic.
It's a
classic,
it's
though.
so long, literally, I don't remember it.
Okay, even if you haven't seen it, the question was, if you were the Space Jam... So they take the powers of NBA players, right? And then they become good. So I asked, if you were the Space Jam aliens, which athlete's powers would you take?
Oh, I thought you were saying which power would you take, so I just said super high jump. So that I could dunk the ball easier.
You taking Marvel athletes' superpowers?
That's what I thought you meant. Like you would take a power, and I said super high jump because playing basketball that'd be a perfect power.
Okay, if you properly heard the question, what would you have said? Amber's just like no. Sports.
Amber, can you answer?
It's a no
Amber,
from me.
you know athletes. What's the one that you really like? The NASCAR driver.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. Wait, does he drive NASCAR or something else? F1?
Formula One. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but you wouldn't. That's your favorite athlete. You would just look good.
I would just look good.
For some reason, I'm blanking out on athletes, and the only one I can think of right now is Michael Phelps.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
What would he do?
He's the most decorated Olympian of all time.
Decorated?
Yeah, like he has the most medals. Yeah.
But how would he help in this? You're talking about in the Space Jam scenario, right? Or you're just talking about in general?
No, just like as athletic ability.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said Mike Tyson. Like if I get Mike Tyson's powers, I can just knock people out left and right walking down the street. Mike Tyson is a ferocious animal, and I would have Mike Tyson's ability.
That's a good.
You have one?
Do you get the tattoo?
I get the tattoo. That's where I get my powers from. It's like the Avatar's glowing arrows. Mike Tyson's like tiger strike, whatever. It glows, and then I just knock somebody out. Amber, what are you saying?
Sorry, I was trying to follow along. I know what athlete's powers I would want.
Yeah, we know.
Who?
What?
No, we said we know. Wait, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
It's Megan Thee Stallion. Because have you seen her knees?
Amber.
I'm just saying that like the way that she is on her knees and like in the way she can like twerk. She got strong knees. That's effort.
I meant like playing sports, not playing guys.
I was hoping you were gonna say this, and I was like, is Amber gonna say this one? Serena Williams. I thought you were gonna go there.
I was actually gonna say Serena Williams at first.
I was going to, but then I was like, wait, but Megan Thee Stallion's knees are iconic.
Serena is so athletic. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy? She's married to the co-founder of Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like two opposite.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Like,
I mean, that's my dream lifestyle. Like,
who would do that? Oh, well, you would marry like a super athletic.
He's like super like cool with being like not the like alpha of the relationship.
Yeah,
he's like,
awesome.
He's like, have you seen her? She's great. Like
that's exactly what Shimmer would want.
Yeah, dude.
He wants to be picked up and curled.
You know why? Because I feel like most people can't.
I think people would have a hard time accepting that, and I like respect that dude for, being cool with that. That's pretty awesome.
Their baby's name is Olympia.
Dang.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
cute little girl.
Cute little girl.
She is a cute little girl.
Anyways, guys.
Wait, really quickly though. But like, if you were the other sister, how would you feel? If you're like slightly like you guys are both great, but like your sister's better than you.
No, Venus is just as incredible. It's just like...
Just as?
I mean...
That's what I'm saying. It's like you can always... It's not like this is a team sport. Like they could play in the same team. Like you would have numbers in competing.
No. But you're not... Like if you look at her as an athlete, she's incredible. You're just not Serena Williams. Serena Williams just happens to be like a GOAT.
But it's like your sibling, right? Like that's better, or known as better. Like I feel like that would affect you.
Yeah.
It depends on how you take it. Some people really celebrate and cherish that and
for
are
us,
like,
this
oh
is
my
a
God.
competitive sport and a one person thing. So it's like, sure, that's a great mindset for like a lot of things in life, but like a sport that is like very competitive, that is
that you want to be the best.
But like my brother and I have played a lot of like similar sports, and every
he
time
gets super competitive.
Yeah.
And when he's better than me, I actually like that a lot more because I'm glad
but you're also
that
not like an athlete whose like life is surrounded by that competitiveness of that.
Yeah, but
thing,
like when you're in high school and stuff, you are like, you know, you take sports very seriously, and regardless, it's about a mentality thing, right? Like,
yeah.
And I was winning. I like in our basketball tournaments and stuff, I always won first place championships, and my brother always won second place. But I always looked at him as being better than me, and I like.
But did he feel the same way?
I mean, I don't know if he did or not. I think he didn't like it because maybe he was younger and he's always trying to like impress and you know compete against me. But
I feel
again,
like
I think it depends on the dynamic.
I feel like he still would be super competitive and like.
Yeah. I think in everything he wants to be like better than a lot of people. But for me, I see him as somebody that like I want him to be really good.
Yeah.
Like right now, it wasn't always this way. Where right now he's like way bigger than me. You know, he's like a total. Jock, I guess, working out wise, and I love that.
Yeah, I think that's an older brother thing too, because I feel the same way.
You feel proud, right?
I want my little brother to be better than me in every aspect of life.
Both of our little brothers are jacked. We're bums.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to an episode of Strange Flavors. My name is Shimmer.
I'm FARAS.
My name is Amber.
And this is the strangest and greatest podcast in the game. This is also brought to you by Alif Theory.
On that Slurpy Derpy.
Slurpy Derpy, dude. I'm so excited, for this amazing podcast. But
Slurpy Derpy.
Slurpy Derpy. And you can slurp and derp
into our
emails. And you can also send your music at strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com. You can tell your homies and...
Just the homies.
Just tell your homies, bro. Just the homies. Where you can listen to this podcast. It's everywhere, literally. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And
Google, Amazon.
Or Amazon. And if
you
like
have podcasts?
Yeah, I was going to say, does Amazon have podcasts?
Not sure, but let's make it there.
But if they do, we're on there.
If they do, we're on there. And if you want to see me in a spaceship, YouTube.
That's what it is.
I love the finger pointing. That was such a Desi thing to do. Find me in spaceship
on YouTube. And then we're also YouTube, and we're on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter @Strange Flavors. But guys,
Everyone's got people yelling in the back.
That's not me.
That was me.
Oh, that's my
brother. Yeah, for once it wasn't me.
I don't know. That was my brother, but. Is he still yelling? He always yells during the podcast. I don't know. For some reason, you guys can hear it now. That's weird. Anyways, my brother is not supporting this podcast. You know who is supporting? You know who is supporting this podcast?
Who?
Bobber's Bagels.
No way.
Yes.
And Cassie's Cupcakes.
Yes, sir. Ooh. Give it up for them.
They have supported Strange Flavors Town for so long now. Mm-hmm. They've even supported my journey into space. That's why I'm in this spaceship right now.
That's where all the funding is going if you're curious.
Yeah, my travels.
If you want to send Shimmer to another nebula, to carry along the Guardians of the Galaxy where he can use his super high jump, support this podcast.
Support this podcast, and all the links are down below. If you'd like to support us in other means, we do have a cultural comedy channel. We have a Patreon for that we give you exclusive, amazing content. And thank you to our patrons, because we've made amazing content this past month.
Thanks to you.
Thanks.
Wow, thank you so much, patrons.
Including a video that we recently made called Bond Star, which was a parody of Pop Star by DJ Khaled and Drake. This video was a lot of fun to make, but it's been causing some trouble, guys.
Why?
Out of nowhere. One, it came with this amazing merch drop, right?
Yeah.
People have been, and thank you for everybody who's bought the merch. You guys have been crazy on the merch, buying like crazy, and it's so awesome to see that you guys mess with this design that much. But out of nowhere, Shamir was actually at my house, right? This dude hits me up and is like, "Yo, I have this Bond shop, like a real Bond shop where he sells Bond," and he's like, I really like your design. Can I use it? And I was like, okay. Like,
he also asked, like, is it registered?
Let's talk money.
Is it registered? Yeah. Well, I was like, does he want it as like a decoration piece, like is it an art piece to hang up, or does he want it to use it as a logo? So I asked him that, and then meanwhile, Shamir and I are talking about like, okay, like this is, you know, from a business sense, what we would do, maybe, as far as like licensing this and that, and I check back, man's deleted all the messages and blocked me.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what? And so, anyways, I was like, okay, this dude's about to steal my like design and use it in his shop. And he sent a picture of the shop. It looked really nice. I was like, this is messed up. And I was like, I have no way of contacting him or anything. So I just decided to share this. And some of you may have seen it on my Instagram and my Twitter, but I just, you know, told the situation exactly how it happened. And I tagged him, and I didn't even ask anybody to like, you know, try to reach out to him or anything. But apparently a bunch of like fans started messaging him, and I got screenshots of some of the messages. They were like, give the design back, you Jord, which means like leave. They're like, Jord. They were like, yo, this is Frosty's design. They're like cussing him out and stuff. And I had no idea this was going on. And later he messages me. I get messages from him, and he's saying like, I'm so sorry, please tell these fans to stop this and that. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like he's messaging me again, and then he's saying, I'm not using your design, don't worry, blah blah blah. And I was like, my man, okay, why did you block me? Why'd you delete the messages?
Yeah.
I was like, that's really sketchy. Like, you wouldn't do that. And then he was like, no, I was nervous. Even my friend told me this is not the way you ask for a logo. I see that it's on your merch and it's all this and you have it registered. Like, I wouldn't steal it. I will send you every part of my design process from here on out. I will send you, my whole store. And I was like, listen, you don't got to do all that. Just if you're going to use my design, then like, you're going to pay me for it. If you're not going to use it, then okay. But like, this is not how you treat artists. The whole point of why I shared this was because this is not the first time this has happened. Like, as an artist, and a lot of people will relate to this. This is why I wanted to share it, because there's so many people that get overlooked, that get disrespected in this way, that people just think that you can just take somebody's work and just like do whatever you want with it, when this happens to be a means of getting money and doing their business and stuff. And even if it doesn't, even if somebody drew it with a pencil or something, there's something called artistic value. The reason you're coming to me for my design is because you like my design. If you don't want to pay for that and the way that I value it, then you can get it done from someone else for whatever they create. But like a lot of people, whether it be photography, videography, logos, any sort of designs, there's so many things that like people just don't want to pay for. And these are the same people that will pour like fortunes into their business or their events, like weddings and stuff. And it always surprises me that I look at some of these weddings and stuff, and they're so grand, and then you don't want to pay like even the smallest fraction for like pretty much a movie being made and edited in a way that like, is gonna last your entire life and preserve memories. Right. I don't know. It like that process doesn't make sense to me. And I wanted to share that with like my Instagram and my Twitter, because I'm just like, it gets annoying sometimes. It's like, I'm not pressed about dude using my logo, but I want to just like put it out there that like, yo, this is not okay. And let people be embarrassed, because you have how are you not going to pay somebody for their work? Like, you're not doing good business. So this is what I told the dude. I was like, you just got to practice business in this way. He's like, I will, blah, blah, blah. He's like begging me, like, please tell them stop, this and that. I was like, all right, I'll tell them. But like, just, be clear with me. Let me know what's going to happen and stuff. He starts sending me pictures of his shop. It's super bougie. It's in India. And, yeah. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, if this dude didn't say anything, I would have never known, because people in India, Pakistan, China, like all these places, they just take it and sell it anyways. But man's told on himself.
Yeah.
He told on himself, and then this happened. And then I was like, okay, I wish you the best of luck. Like, all good. Take care. Peace. And then this man has the audacity. He goes, okay, this is my business. Please support it. Please let your followers know. I was like, Mom, man.
Okay, Basna.
I was like, I'm not responding to this. You can't do that. Like,
yeah, no.
You gotta have
like, hey,
good...
I know you sent your fans to come for me, even though you didn't.
Yeah.
I know you sent your fans to come for me, but how can you just reverse that and then send them for me the other way? Just like make sure they buy.
Yeah, he starts going. He's like, yeah, my friends and I watch your videos all the time, dude. You're a dope rapper. All this stuff. I'm just like, all right, you don't gotta do all that, but like, you know, but
also do things the proper way. But also, can we like maybe say that it's also ignorance too? Like,
what do you mean?
What is the laws for that in India? Like, do they have like?
Well, he asked, so he knew.
He knew that. Yeah, the whole point is the first thing he did, and then he asked if it's registered, and then he decided to delete the messages and block me. Meaning, like,
so he clearly knew.
You can't. Some people don't know, right? Like, there's people that, but they ask, you know, what does something like this cost, right?
Right.
If you're doing business in the first place, you should understand sort of basic business principles of trade, right? You don't just hand people things, and it's supposed to be a fair exchange, right? Like that's the basic sort of meaning of business. So especially for this dude to come in like that, I was just like, no, we're not gonna have this play out like this.
I'm glad you did what you did.
Hey, he told on himself. What can I do?
Shout out the fans.
Yeah, shout out. And so just know, if you're trying to steal some artwork from Ronald Pono, there's a lot of people coming for you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the fans. And also shout out to the fans that, like, you know, and just people in general that are so respectful to the things that I and we do, and do pour in money to support us in different ways, and always, you know, reach out and ask these things. I know, like, since I've dropped the video of my sister's engagement, like nikah ceremony, I've gotten so many messages and emails regarding that, and there have been extremely respectful people that, like, you know, understand the work, not only that's to be done, but then the value of having someone specific do it, right? Like, there's a reason that you're reaching out to this person to do it. And like,
dude, if people are reaching out to me asking if I can ask you for a discount for them for like a video like that, and I'm like, why don't you just ask them yourself? They're like, yo, can you get FARAS to like get a cheap price for that type of video? I'm like, yo, just ask them yourself.
Yeah, and also, like, I'm not gonna like try to put myself on a pedestal or something, but it's just like, you have to understand that as you grow, you have to grow, right? Like, I think all of us, you know, have started out doing these things where we're doing things for free from the very beginning, and we've done a lot of things for free. And I don't know about you guys, but I've done some things that, like, were just like, you wouldn't believe that, like, this is the amount that I got paid for it. And like, but I understand that that's a sacrifice of being an artist, of being an entrepreneur in that way. But then if you want to grow, you can't keep your price at that level. And especially when you want to create value around your name and your business, you have to raise that for your own good and your own, like, mindset. Because, like, I'm never going to grow, but I'm going to continue to create things that are magical for people. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And also understanding that when you compare yourself to other people in the industry, it's like, you're not going to hit up some random South Asian wedding creator or something and get a video like something that any of us would create. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to get those types of transitions or anything like that. Or care or passion. Like, people can learn to click a camera and hold record and learn how to piece things together on a video. But when you're coming from the types of backgrounds that we do and the amount of work and time we put into things, like, you got to understand that these things, like, they take a lot of effort, and you're paying for somebody's value and artistic touch and signature to be put on something like that. So,
and you got to value yourself so high. Like, if you, like, there's so many times where I'm like, I need money, right? But they offer, like, such a low price. I'm like, I'm not doing it, because that doesn't follow how I value myself. I need the money really bad, but that's not my value. I'm much higher than that. And I stick to that. And then, you know, thank God, like, something comes my way that gives me that value, because I set my value that high.
Yeah. And that's dope. I like that sort of attitude towards it too, because sometimes you get, like, talked into and bullied into, like, you know, things that you don't really want to negotiate. You already are giving somebody, like, this is this is where I go from here. Like, you know, this is why I'm taking this thing. And then, but the respect has to be there. Like, you know, if you came to this person to get a job done, then like either you pay it or you don't, and then you never feel guilty about it. Like, that's the main thing. If you're going to be working for somebody and the whole time you're like, you feel like, you know, you're not going to be able to get your time's worth, it's pointless. And I read a quote that I really like a lot that, like, I forget exactly how it goes, but it was like, you know, people think that it's just about how long it takes you to do something. And then it was something along the lines of like, you're not paying me to be able to do something in 10 minutes. You're paying me because it took me 10 years to learn how to do something in 10 minutes. And it's exactly that. It's just like at one point, yeah, like, you know, all of these things that we do artistically become a lot easier to do, but try and get it done by somebody else and see how much like they'll mark it as and how long it takes them to do it. Like, if I can deliver you something in a day and it's going to be way better than anything that you could get somebody takes like a week to do and it's not as good, like, that's called value. It's just plain and simple as that. So all that to say, yeah, like it's interesting along the way that these things happen. They're going to continue to happen. It's just a part of it. It's a sacrifice, but we're very thankful for everybody who supports us along the way. And with that, real quick, let's talk to another artist and see some of her perspectives on different things. And that way I will introduce the stranger. The stranger today is an actress, writer, and dancer who's telling her own unique story through her art. She talks to us about the Indian-Australian perspective, her views on diversity and the film industry, and a whole lot more. So get cozy, get your Vegemite ready, and enjoy this episode with our stranger, Ria Patel. Welcome to our show.
Wow.
I know.
Did you guys like that?
That was cute.
I didn't like it.
Oh, I did.
It was very unfrost-like.
It was very unfrost-like.
It's the sleep deprived for us.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, a lot more sense.
What's up, Ria? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Well, I know you're sleep deprived. How are the other two?
Also,
that is my good.
I've been great. I actually got sleep, so
it's the morning for you right now in Australia.
Yes, it is. It is it's your future. It is Friday here.
Oh my God!
Yes,
don't tell me things like that. Don't tell me things like that.
Okay.
She's calling us from
the
future right now.
Do you guys say mate often?
From the future. Mate? Yeah, I mean, I sometimes call I refer to my friends as mate, but like it's not.
I was talking to my mate the other day. Like
yeah, like my mate and I, like we caught up. We say stuff like that. Yeah.
That's
where in Australia are you?
Melbourne. Or as Americans like to say, Melbourne.
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 It's not our fault.
It's not Melbourne.
It's not our fault you spelled it like that.
Fair enough. I agree. Yeah.
Well, English words in general, it's just like you don't know which way they could go. It depends on where you live. So, Melbourne.
Melbourne. Yeah, it's like
Melbourne,
a band,
sorry.
like big. Yeah, Melbourne.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We actually not too long ago we tried some Australian snacks. Someone sent us a package. They were like, "Yo, you guys need to try some snacks."
Massive box.
Listen, I have one question for you, and that determines how the rest of this interview goes.
Oh no, is this about Vegemite?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Oh,
explanation.
So wait, are we asking you whether I like it or not, or what Vegemite is?
Do not give me a political answer. Are you pro Vegemite or not?
I am pro Vegemite.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry. I know.
I'm
an Aussie at heart. The thing is, like, you have to. Okay, when you guys tried it, did you do it with like a bit of butter on toast, or was it like just? Was it a lot of?
Sis,
no?
I want an explanation.
Well, it's kind of it's that salty bitterness. Like, once in a while, you kind of want that on your toast. Like, usually it's like
eat
I would
a salted
never put
pretzel.
that on anything.
Eat a salted pretzel.
No, it's I don't know. I feel weird saying it's the yeasty toast. But
you're saying that's the best way to have it?
Why are your veggies in a tube?
With butter.
With butter.
I don't. Well, it's not actually vegetables in a tube. It's like yeast. It feels weird explaining that to people. Like, yeah. But if you know, try it. I don't know if you guys had it with butter. So like a bit of butter, and then you put a little bit of Vegemite. I honestly can't like put like a ton of it. Yeah, so it's not like I'll eat like spoons of it like Nutella, but in little doses.
We had like a
nice.
little dab that we put on our finger,
and we couldn't.
And even
well,
that,
you don't eat it like that. No, you don't. Try it again with toast, and I don't know if you still have it, or maybe But
no,
like,
we threw that thing
why I don't believe you. Okay?
I think if I gave it to an animal, the animal wouldn't eat it. That's how strongly I feel about it.
If I put a little dab of peanut butter or Nutella or anything on my finger and I tried it, it still would be okay. Like, you know, I get it. It's out of context. You need to have it on something cool. That's like I could eat that with basically any other like toast topping.
I'm gonna take your word for it. I'm gonna try it with toast one time.
Try it with toast.
I feel like we're hating.
Do we still have it?
No, I actually somebody smelled it from across the other neighborhood, and they were like, "Whatever that is, I'm gonna call the neighborhood watch on you." No, I'm just kidding. No, but okay. I'm sure there's food that we have in both in our culture and like Pakistani culture, Desi culture, and things that we eat in America that some people might be like, that's whack. So
chili milli for me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But but Vegemite might be one of those things. But listen, there were all the other ones were smack. Like there was this cherry chocolate one. I forget what it's called.
Oh, was it cherry ripe?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yo,
so good. Yes.
That was it. That was it for me.
Okay.
I was
the cookies were good.
The mint cookies. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Tim Tam?
I forgot what they're called. Yeah. Well, so there's Tim Tams, but then I'm assuming
you have the both? I think we had.
You had both. Yeah. Tim Tams are like my favorite. You can actually. I don't like coffee, but some people like putting Tim Tam in a coffee and eating that, or putting a straw through the Tim Tam. Yeah, putting the straw in the Tim Tam and then dunking that in your coffee, so you're like sipping a Tim Tam coffee. So like,
I thought it was you to bite it from both sides and use it as a straw and then eat it or something.
No, so I don't know why someone. Maybe it's that. Maybe I totally screwed that up. It could be that. That makes more sense. But someone told me putting a straw in there. I haven't tried that. But having it with coffee is like another way to do it too.
Yeah, that's cool though. So I mean, talking about like all these cultures and stuff. I want to know, you know, how long have you been in Australia, first of all? Have you been there your whole life?
Yeah. So, I was born in India, and then I was 1.5 when I moved here. So, yeah, my family basically calls me an Aussie baby.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you typically, like, how do South Asians typically fit in Australia, in, like, the Australian society? Is it all different?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, when I grew up here, there were hardly any like South Asians at all. But now, every time I come back home from the States, like we're flooded. Like I'll be on the tram and I'll hear like all these different languages. So like there's definitely Australia is very multicultural now. Like growing up, it wasn't as much, but now it really is. So I think it's just as multicultural as like, you know, America. Like if I go to New York or LA, there's so many like.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like if you're in certain areas in America, but like if you're in like the Midwest or something, it's gonna be rare to find any color there.
Oh, yeah, so absolutely, yeah. So if you go like up north to Australia, you won't find a lot of South Asians up there.
Okay.
But yeah, so like, but major cities like Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane, you would definitely find a lot of South Asians.
How do they typically fit in the society? Like, are in America, you know, like the story is typically like. They go towards usually like East Coast. We have like some cities in like Texas and primary cities in like Jersey and in Michigan that like they'll all kind of stack up and I guess form their own sort of regions, and then they're usually going toward like very academic and in that sort of level of society. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
What's it like in Australia?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to like most Aussies here will come here either to study like, you know, engineering or anything techie, or like become a doctor of medicine or something. So it's very similar. As far as like cinema or something, no one really comes down here to study film. And then but most of them are in the major cities. Like one cool thing is like when we like the city itself will celebrate like our culture like festivals as well. So like in the heart of the city they'll celebrate Diwali, so they'll put up the whole like festival for us. So it's kind of nice having Australia like accept us as well. Like they do that for other cultures too, but it's nice to like, because I never had that, and I had no Indian friends growing up, and then suddenly there was like a flood of them, and so it's kind of nice to be like, oh, I finally have a Desi friend now.
Here I think for a lot of people growing up, how old are you?
26.
Okay, so around that age, you know, a lot of people that were growing up and are 26 or somewhere around there now faced a lot of sort of like racism and stuff like that in America. So it sounds like Australia was a little bit more accepting. Is that right?
I got bullied as a kid because
For what?
I think, I guess looking different, or like when I'd take like my lunchbox to school and like kids would be like, oh my god, what's that smell? Like, what do you have in there?
so similar story there.
Yeah. So
it's just a lack of 9/11 basically in Australia.
And you know, a few years back in Melbourne, we did have like racial attacks against some like Indian students. I mean, people argue that no, it just happened to be Indian students. I don't know personally, but I think there is a little bit of racism, but at the same time, I would like to think that we are accepting as well. But yeah, just my personal experience, it's been pretty good overall. Just like, I don't know, kids will be kids, and maybe I just got bullied because I don't know, I wasn't cool or whatever. But yeah,
well, just being different, I think that's part of you know, being a kid. But definitely in certain areas, you know, kids do get bullied because of their cultural sort of differences and stuff. But yeah, you talk a lot about, you know, bridging a gap. How far is that gap between you know, being Indian and Australian, and why is that important for you to continue like carrying a culture there?
Well, I guess it's like, I don't know if you guys feel this way as well, but like every time I go to India, my family sometimes, or my friends will call me a bloody Aussie. Or like every time I'm, you know, back home in Australia, I've had people call me Fob or Curry. And it's just, I used to hate it. Like I never felt like I fit anywhere. And then like now growing up, I started accepting both cultures when I was actually in America, because people found that really cool. Like, oh, you're an Australian Indian. And I'm like,
how often are you here?
So I'm based in LA. I moved to America in 2013 in September, but because of COVID, I came back home. So I've been back home for like 6 months now, but usually I'm based in LA.
LA, got it. Okay. Sorry, go on.
And so I think it was once people thought it was really cool or unique in in America that I'm like a blend of both things. That's when I started accepting that, oh, this is kind of nice, like, you know, having both cultures. And then I think it could be even just being mature and like growing up and be like, oh, I like both my cultures, and my family's pretty traditional and religious, so I liked holding on to that aspect. But at the same time, like, again, like growing up, I didn't have a lot of Indian friends, South Asian friends in general, so I was very, I don't like to use the word whitewash, but if that's in a way I kind of was. And I
we
think
use the term ABCD a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I technically wasn't born in Australia, so I feel like, does it really count for me? But I think like for me, like bridging the whole gap also means like, because like I'm an actor, and like when I never saw a lot of representation on screen, and to me it's really important to be like sharing stories of South Asian people, and that's and you know, representing people that are from like that are like us, like grew up in a foreign country but like are culturally from somewhere else, because usually it was either you're completely American or like in Bollywood you're completely like Indian or whatever. It's just mushing the birth.
I think in Bollywood it's just you're completely from this family. I don't think
you're completely exactly Indian. That's it.
When did this like I guess sort of motivation to showcase, you know, your culture and stuff like this come towards, you know, acting and stuff like that for you?
I think it's probably been, I guess 2 years ago. I wasn't booking as much like, you know, work in the industry, and I was was kind of fed up with it. So that's why I started like writing my own work, and it was just important to me to tell stories about like us. And even now, like when there is like a few South Asians on screen, it's still not specific. Like when someone says like, oh, you're Indian, but it's like, yeah, but where are you from? Oh, you're Pakistani. Like, yeah, but where? Like, what language do you speak? I think it's still very general in like the Hollywood industry. So like when people are like, oh my God, I love chicken tikka. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not North Indian. I'm Gujarati. I eat something else. So for me, it was like, I just wanted to show like different aspects of our culture. And like my first like film, like short script I wrote was about a girl who's obsessed with fries, and she's marrying a guy who follows Jainism. So she's like, oh my God, do I give up fries for this guy or do I not? And that's just reflecting on like,
I don't know what that is. What they can't eat fries?
Oh, yeah. So Jainism, so they believe in nonviolence. So they don't eat certain root vegetables. Yeah. So potatoes are one. Pumpkin, onion, garlic. There's also, so with onion and garlic, I know that they call it tamasic food. So tamasic food makes you like hot-headed. It doesn't make you think straight. They have a saying that, you know, a family that eats a lot of onion and garlic are always like arguing with each other.
Okay, we've heard that from one of our friends. Yeah. But he's Hindu though, so I don't know if that crosses in. So I think. So it's Hinduism. I think Hinduism is like the broad umbrella, and then it branches out, and then Jainism is one of, So so again, like I didn't know that. So I'm not Jain, but I didn't know that. But I thought it was like kind of cool to like tell that story. So I think it's probably with that it kind of like pushed me to like, I want to tell more stories. That's a good
about us.
script idea.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It was fun. It was fun.
You said you started writing your own stuff. Did that come naturally to you, or did you like? What was that like? Yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed writing as a kid, but I never really took it serious. Like, I didn't think of it as a career. Like, I would never say, like, oh, I'm an actor and writer. Like, it's only been, like 2 years ago since I will proudly say, like, oh, yes, I'm an actress and writer. In my head, I had this, like, story that if I would tell people that I'm also a writer, they wouldn't take me seriously as an actress. So that's why I didn't like to say that. But I just enjoy doing it. I don't have a degree in writing or anything. The best way for me, honestly, is just to keep writing and then get feedback from other people, and like trial and error. That's like the way I'm just learning to write.
Well, you're a dancer too. So how did your parents react to you wanting to pursue only these sort of like creative passions?
I had pretty supportive parents. I'm lucky that way. So I started off in like dancing, and like, I mean, it was just a hobby. It wasn't something I wanted to pursue when I was younger.
Was it not like an Indian thing? I know like a lot of Indian friends that I have, they just are usually put into dancing from being little because of cultural reasons to carry on.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it was because there wasn't a lot of, you know, South Asian culture around me. I was craving that. And I think the reason why I love dancing was watching Bollywood movies and stuff. But even when I joined my first dance class, it was a hip hop class. And then when the Commonwealth Games happened in 2006 in Melbourne, the choreographer was Shamag Davar. So like he's like a choreographer in India, and he opened up classes here. So for me, I was like, oh my God, Bollywood dance classes. So that's when I started like dancing through his company. And like that was I like to say like dancing is like my first love, but acting is my true love.
That's awesome. And I saw that you were recently awarded Best Actress at two things called Top Indie Film Awards and then South Film and Arts Academy Festival.
That was
where are those?
Oh my God, I think the top indie one it's somewhere in Asia. I think it's like...
Was it like online?
It was online. That was online. Yeah. And then...
Did you have to submit anything for those, or like they saw the films and...
I submitted the films.
Okay.
So this was another short film I wrote, and we submitted that to a few festivals, and like It picked up a few awards there. So that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, it was it was like unexpected. I was like, well, it's not gonna go anywhere, who knows, but it was
what were they for? Was it for any of your things that you wrote?
Yeah, so I wrote a short film. It was called Trey Pops. My best friend, he's obsessed with Pops, the Funko Pops.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like,
here.
We both pulled ours out.
I love it. Yeah, so he has over 400 of them in our house.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so he's an avid collector. So I wrote like a script with like the both of us were like, when we're on the verge of a breakup, and like, because I'm just sick and tired of like him collecting all these pops and stuff.
Nice.
So it was just like a really cute, like simple like breakup story. And but yeah, I think, and then like I wrote it, and then we like filmed it, and then yeah, we just wanted to like put it to a few festivals, and like
that's gotta feel really good, like something that you came up with, and getting some sort of like acknowledgement of this is good, this works.
I loved it because like, and also what was like encouraging for me was like I also got nominated for like best writer as well, and I was like, oh cool, wow. Okay, so that was like awesome. Kind of that was encouraging. Like for me, like acting is always still my number one goal, but when I get like, I guess like encouragement like through things like this, it's like, oh cool, I should keep writing. I
wanted to ask like how you got from dancing to acting.
Oh my, I've always loved like Bollywood growing up. Like so the story I love to tell people is like, so I was supposed to be born in August, but I came in July. My mom loves watching films so much, so she went to go watch some Bollywood movie, and then she came back home and she wasn't feeling that great, and then they took her to the doctors, and I came the next day. So there's like a joke that I've been watching films since I was like in her room. But yeah, I think so. I've always had this like Bollywood thing growing up, and I would like act in my room like in front of the mirror and like practice scenes and stuff. But I think for me, like acting wasn't a career to have because like Indians don't do that, especially Gujarati girls. So it was never really something I wanted to like pursue. But with dancing, I guess like I just got excited when the dance classes started here, so I did that as a hobby. And then I was a really quiet and shy kid, so that kind of brought me out of the shell. And I think because of that, that's when I started like, auditioning for school plays and like taking drama class. So like I was in the drama club. There wasn't like I didn't see like Madhuri Dixit or like, I don't know, like Tom Hanks in a movie and was like, oh my god, I want to act. It was like a slow transition for me.
It's like a love for performing and the mixture of the Bollywood and stuff, it seems like.
Yeah, I think, like I said, like dancing was what I loved a lot, and then it was just, I think it kind of just opened me up to like just trying different things, and then I realized like, this would be kind of cool to like have some
At what
career.
point did you take it seriously, and why?
I think while I was like doing my acting degree, like so when I finished high school, I had applied for a few different like degrees. Like I remember I had one in health. I was thinking of health science. I had applied for a social work degree, and then I also did like just a fine arts in general, and then I auditioned for a theater school here in Australia, and I told my mom, like, Mom, I just want you to know, like, I might not get accepted into theater school because like in Australia they don't like to take kids fresh out of high school. They want you to have more life experience, so they prefer like a little older. So my mom was like, no, don't waste a year, like go apply for schools in America or something. So I was like, okay. So I think she didn't want me to waste a year. Basically I thought about maybe I should take a year off after high school and then like work on the side and do like a few courses, and then try out for school again. So at that point I just wanted to learn more about acting, but it wasn't like a career as such. And then when I flukily got into like school in the States, and then once I was learning more about acting and stuff, I was like, I think I want to do this. So I guess like in terms of, if you want a year, like maybe 2013, 14, when I was studying
And that's when you moved to LA for school? Yeah,
so I first moved to New York. So I lived in New York for a year. Studied there for a year, and then I transferred to the LA campus to finish my degree off. So,
do you think it helped you, like with the film school?
I think it helped me, absolutely. I have a lot of people who ask me, like, do you think it's important to have a degree?
Like, is it worth it?
And it is worth it, but at the same time, if you don't have, like, like financially you can't afford it, that's totally fine. Or if you feel like you're wasting like 3 or 4 years of your life, that's okay too. But I always encourage people to like at least do some workshops. Like I have a friend who's like, she has a degree in business, but all of a sudden she's like, no, I want to act. And she's like a shark. She like goes and does all these workshops. So she's like really at it. So if you can, by all means get a degree. Like it is amazing. They were like, some of the best years of my life. But if it's not something that's, available to you or, I think that's fine. But
also like you're writing and doing your own thing and having this sort of like your own stories wanting to be told as well. It seems like from, what I've gathered from different people who have taken that route or not taken that route, it always comes down to what you make of it, like at the end of the day. And for you, it seems like you weren't just like, all right, once I finish school, then I'll try out for this. It's like you're simultaneously like, auditioning and writing and things like that along the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it honestly just comes down to how much you're putting in. Because it's, I think being an actor or just an artist in general, you're basically an entrepreneur for yourself. Like if you're not going to like, if you're waiting to be discovered, it's not really good. I mean, I don't know. It does happen, but you don't want to be waiting around for that. Like a lot of casting directors will also say, like, don't wait around to be discovered. Like, I want to see you everywhere. Like, you should have your own YouTube channel, or you should be like uploading some of your stuff online or whatever. So,
but recently with like South Asians in America, at least, all of the ones that have been really like being highlighted and like really put on a platform have been those people that wrote their own sort of story. Yeah. I'm thinking of like Mindy Kaling,
Aziz Ansari.
Like, no matter what you think of them individually as people or whatever, they still are like writing. Kumail, who wrote his own movie, they still told their own story the way they wanted to. It wasn't that. Like what I can't think of anybody that would have written something like that for them to, play a part in that. That just isn't going to happen.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. I still think that there is a long way to go in terms of like diversity and like, roles are still written for white people. But, I think it's up to us to be right. Because I think if we're not presenting them with this work, then I don't know, maybe they won't be open-minded or see it as
or they'll take it anyway.
Yeah. But like I think like even with Mindy, like because she's been writing her stuff, I think because people are seeing more of her work, and now I think she's writing like Legally Blonde 3.
Wow.
So I'm
Is this the South Asian insider scoop? Acting scoop?
It was like, I mean, this was, it was published. It was published. Like, I remember reading about it. So, I'm not leaking inside information. But if you Google it,
you have inside information you can leak while you're here?
Sadly, I don't have any inside information. But, I think if it wasn't for her, like, writing her and stuff, like, people wouldn't have known who she was. And
give her a shot in that way.
So,
Otherwise, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say otherwise, we're used to seeing South Asians take on a lot of those sort of typical roles, whether it be like the taxi driver, or terrorist, whatever it might be. I saw your reel, and I saw that sometimes you have an Australian English accent, and then sometimes you have an American English accent. Sometimes you have a Indian accent. Sometimes you're speaking Hindi. So
yes.
Is there anything out of those that you typically don't like doing, or are you like across the board you like doing all of them?
I like doing all of them. I know some people get upset like, oh, but I don't want to play the Indian scientist. And I'm like, honestly, if it's a good role, I'm okay doing that. Like, this person happens to come from India. Like, sure, like, and I actually have played a mathematician, and I remember, like, so it was for a commercial, but they shot it like a trailer, and I auditioned with an Indian accent and an American accent, and then when I got on set, they were like, oh, you're Australian, and the director was like, oh no, actually I want you to like talk normally, like with the Aussie accent. I'm like, sure. So we did a few takes, and then the client happened to be on set, and he's like, can you tell her to put an Indian accent on? And I, whatever, it's fine. But I think he also did that because...
It bothered you a little bit, though, didn't it?
A little bit. Because I was so excited to finally do something with an Australian accent. So I think it was more of that. And then... But I was like, okay, sure. Also, the commercial was for the semiconductor industry. And, when I went to their, like... They call it the Fab Lab. I don't know what Fab stands for. But, like, when we went to those labs, like, I would see these locker rooms and stuff. And, like, all of them, like... Majority of them were like Indians or like South Asians. So I think, the reason why he wanted me to have an Indian accent was the fact was that in that industry, a lot of the workers were from India and they had an Indian accent.
So it would be more authentic.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like if it is genuinely authentic, like I'm okay with that. But if you're doing it to like take the mickey out of someone, like then I'm like, well, like Apu, like that obviously upsets me. I'm like, I don't sound like that. So yeah, if it's like really like taken out of context, I don't like that. But otherwise, if it's a good role, and I don't mind doing an Indian accent or an American accent. Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of Indian accents, so like I am kind of craving like, I'm happy to do an American accent as well.
Do you typically audition with an American accent?
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out like, do I walk in with an American accent or an Australian accent? It's a hit or a miss. I get paranoid that if I go in with an Aussie accent, they're gonna like, and then I ask them like, do you want me to do this with an American accent? They're like, yeah, sure. But I keep thinking like they're gonna like purposely try to listen to the like Australian accent in me. So now I just if it's a self tape, I have to send in a tape, I'll just do it with an American accent, like I'll slate with my name and stuff. But it just depends. I think you have to feel the vibe of the room. Like I've had some people which are totally okay with me doing an Australian accent, and then some people are like, no, like we want an American accent. Like that's fine.
What do you like typically try to mentally remember when you're doing an American accent?
Okay, I guess when I was starting to do an American accent, I would my trick, my word
like say
was,
what you just said. Say what you just said in American.
Can you
when
do
I was
this
starting
next
to do an
sentence?
American
Okay,
accent?
so when I was starting to work with an American accent,
God, she's too good.
The word that I would use was nacho. I don't know why that word, but like that was like my word to like help me go into like an American accent.
So you're just in a corner going nacho.
Yeah, in my head I'm like nacho, and then I do
After knowing your accent and then like seeing you do it, I can see where you're coming from. Like you don't tell them that you have an accent, because then I'm looking at like how you're moving your mouth, and I'm like, I can tell.
Yeah. Well, and that's like we were taught that in school. Like I didn't know that like the way accents work is like where the placement of your tongue is, and like where so I'm just like, oh, like with Americans, when you say your O's, you like really drop your jaw. Like when you're saying no, it's like no. So like I would I'm like really emphasizing it. Yeah. Whereas with Australians, it's like you're, I don't know, I like to think of it like it's just shooting out in front of you, like no, like instead of dropping your jaw down
with an R.
Yeah, with an R. I used to like people used to
it's
like
not
make
fair.
fun
Like
of me.
everyone can do an American accent correctly, but like if we were like you would know right away if we're because the way that Americans do things is like offensive. It's like the only thing, like the first question from your ass is like, yo, do you guys say mate? Like that's such an American thing to say.
Yeah, we're very ignorant over here.
Yeah. I have a question. So when I went on set, there was this, like, the first day that I got there, they handed me a pregnancy test, and they were like, so you're actually going to, we like changed the script a little bit, and now you're going to take this out of your purse in the last scene. And I was like, not ready for that at all. And the first thing that popped in my head was, fam, my dad's gonna see this. Is that gonna be awkward? And so I know that you've played a role where you played somebody that was gay, and like I'm just wondering, was that awkward for you? Were you worried about like your parents' impressions or anybody's, like at least the stigma with the community? You know, things that are like out there or taboo. Like, are you scared about playing those type of roles at all?
If it's a good role, I'll absolutely do it. Like, I remember I was a little worried telling my parents, like, I'm playing a gay Gujarati girl. But, like, I remember my dad's like, as long as it's not a prostitute. And I was like, okay. But honestly, if there was a good prostitute role, I would totally do that too. But I was like, okay, Dad. But, like, I was trying to explain to him, like, if it's a good role, like, I will absolutely do it. But I was worried because, like, you know, especially, like, in Gujarat where I'm from, like, this topic is still, like, it's a taboo topic, you know, compared to, like, going to, like, major cities like Bombay or, like, Delhi. Like, it's a little bit more, like, people will still talk about it, whereas where I'm from, it's, like, very hush-hush. And, you know, girls aren't allowed to be gay, like, men, like, okay. So I was worried about that. And then, like, there was, like, a kissing scene as well. So, I mean, I was okay with that, but it was more of, like, oh my God, people are gonna see this, like, well, how's this gonna be taken? But, my dad hasn't seen it. My mom has, but she never.
On purpose?
But you know, I don't know. I don't know if he hasn't seen it on purpose.
You didn't send him the link.
Does he know that it's there?
He knows it's there. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. My parents don't watch my things unless I make them watch it. So, like, sometimes my mom will watch it.
So you didn't make them watch it?
I didn't. No, I was a little petrified making them watch that. I was like, I don't know if I want them to see it. Even, I was really surprised, like, some of my, like, family members in India watched it. Because in the beginning, when I was, like, you know, in America, like, studying acting, no one knew what I was doing. Like, some of them thought I was getting a degree in health science. Some of them thought I was doing, like, fine arts. And then, like a few years later, my mom would start telling, like, my aunts and uncles, like, oh, she's actually doing acting. She's, like, she's an actor. She's working.
That's cool.
So, my grandfather still doesn't know what I'm doing, but that's fine. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I wanted to ask, how do you get into, like, your roles? Like, are you a method actor? Or are you a different style of acting? Like,
I don't like to do method. Because I'm very sensitive and emotional. So and it's just so draining. Like, if I have to, like, especially if it's a really, like, intense character, like, I don't want to be carrying that around with me for, like, I don't know, like, a prolonged amount of time. Like, especially if I have, like, a really emotional scene, like, in that, so this Gujarati web series I did, where I played the gay character, like, there was, like, one scene where, like, all the scenes that we're shooting that day were just, like, emotional crying scenes. And by the end of the day, I'm just tired, because you've basically made your body believe, like, it went into the fight or flight response. So, like, you know, after the day's over, you're just tired because your hormones are, like, slowly, like, realizing, oh, okay, everything's fine. But I don't like method acting. But the way I usually get into, like, my roles is music's a very easy way for me to, like, help me get into the zone. So I'll put on, like, music depending on, like, if it's an emotional scene, I'll, like, plug my earphones in, like, listen to something sad. I'm really, I don't know, I think it's weird, like, but I like to, like, connect my voice to my body. So, like, sometimes you'll see me on set jumping around, like, making sounds like, like, or I'll do push-ups and, like, start, you know, making weird la la la. There's this cockroach pose I like to do. I'll, like, lie on my back and my hands and feet in the air, and then I'll make sound like that. So, like, anything to help me connect my, like, breath and voice with my body is something that I do all the time.
That's interesting. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna start just flailing my body around and making
I'm serious. It really helps. Like,
I believe you. It sounds like it's like it's to get your nerves out too.
Yeah, like, I had it. So in school, teachers would tell me that I have a head voice. Like, whenever I'd say something, it's, like, coming from here, whereas it needs to come from, like, my diaphragm. So the way that
Amber.
Yeah. So one of my favorite exercises, I call it a whack-a-mole. So you're literally just jumping from, like, spot to spot and just, like, making sounds, and, like, that just helps you, like, connect yourself to your breath. And it's a huge, like, I can feel it, it's a huge difference. So that's something that I do. If I have a good actor, we'll probably do, like, a few exercises together as well. You know, like, maybe we'll, like, for the day, like, sure, I'll pretend to be that character I'm playing. So, like, and if that actor's, like, okay with that, we'll usually, like, you know, maybe we'll be, like, husband and wife for the day or whatever. But
Are you sure
it
that's
depends.
not for more reason than one?
I have yet to work with an actor who I've had, like, a crush on
Oh, wow.
Is that what we're talking about? Is that what you're implying to?
Yeah.
No, that
like, hey, listen, if I don't have a boyfriend, you can just like pretend to be my boyfriend for today. Like, I'm just doing it for the scene, you know? It's not like, you know.
Actually, no, there was one day I went on set and so in the scene there was a kissing scene, but I didn't think we would do that because it was for a cinematography workshop and that director knew me, so he wanted me to help out. So I was like, okay, sure. So I went on set and then the actor came and then he was like, are you guys okay with kissing each other? And I was like, yeah. I mean, he was super cute and he was French as well. So like he would sometimes talk in French and I was like, oh my God, please keep talking to me in French. But so that day I was a little upset because in the scene, like I'm like nervous and stuff, like I almost get like mugged or something this moment before and he comes and saves me. So I'm like jittery and nervous and like I come on to him and try to like kiss him, but it's like a very awkward kiss. So I was a little disappointed that moment wasn't as passionate as it could have been, but because
like in
of
the scene it was supposed to be awkward.
I was supposed to be awkward, yeah, because I'm like,
and you're like, listen, this is just the acting. Like, if you want to find out later, like, I can't.
You could have just done it how you wanted, and then the director would be like, do it again.
Do it again.
Oh, sorry, I'm having problems.
Yeah, sorry. You know, I just thought you wanted me to go all out, director sir.
Yeah, I should. Maybe next time I'll do that. But I was kind of upset because I was like, I had to be the one like coming on to him, and he was just like standing there. So I was like, damn it! I wish you knew. Like, I'm a good kisser. Like, you're never gonna know this now.
It seems like you will be comfortable in a lot of those situations, though. But is there a role that you wouldn't take? Is there something that crosses a line for you?
I'm not okay with nudity.
Okay.
But that's not necessarily a role.
How does that work? Do you just like read that, and if it says that, then you're just done, or do they ask you like?
Yeah,
like this director walked in and said like, "Are you guys okay with kissing?" So will they ever do that? Like, "Hey, are you okay with nudity?" Out of nowhere, or like, is that
usually? Yeah, so usually with nudity, like I've been given the script beforehand. I will if you ever go on set and on the day they're telling you that's a no. Like that's
the wrong movie.
That's casting couch.
Yeah, I don't know how you ended up there, but and it's also saying that they're not professional either. Like, so I've always been given the script before. There was this director who reached out to me and I was like, for a feature film, and like it was a great role, and but there was like a sex scene in it, and it was so funny the way he explained it to me was, so there was like so the other characters had a sex scene as well, and then I had one too, and I was like, okay, so your scene, it's like, so the first one, it's like getting fast food at McDonald's, but yours is a candlelight dinner. So I was like, okay, so I guess what he was trying to say, the first scene with the other actors, like it was very like raunchy and like wild and like
yours is
rough.
tame.
Mine was still
passionate.
Mine was still passionate and wild, but it was like a candlelight dinner. So I was like, just the way he explained it, I was like, okay, like sure, but I read it and he warned me. He's like, I just want you to know, like, I just put it all out on the page so then we can work through it, so don't feel like we have to do everything. But it was like really explicit, like he like sucks on her nipples, and also, is this okay I'm saying this stuff? Because I don't.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
I was like, oh, and he enters her, and I was just like, no, there is no entering. I was like, no.
So then really were on the wrong side.
I was like, no. And I read the whole script. It wasn't like he gave me that one scene. So I know, and the themes that he was like exploring was like ego and sensuality and like, all that sort of stuff. So I understand why the scene was there. And I told him like, I don't want to do this. Please by all means find another actor. If you still want me, like we have to work around this. Like, I don't, yeah.
Forward that to Shamir. He takes on roles like that.
I do both parts.
Okay. I love it. Yeah.
That's why he's on set right now with the green screen. He's ready.
I'm always ready.
But
what about like, whether it be certain cultural roles, like where you're like, I don't know if I know enough about this, or like if you were to play like a different ethnicity or something like that. What's your sort of view of that?
So yeah, I've been asked to audition sometimes as like, like a Middle Eastern, like an Arab character, or even like, someone who's Mexican, and I don't mind if it's a commercial, because it's like, okay, that's fine. But usually if it's a role, like in a film or whatever, like I tend to feel like I say no just in respect of like there are so many other actors out there that are actually like from that part of the world. Like, why would you want me? So, you know, unless they're like, no, like, but you whatever essence you have, like the personality or something in you, like we want that for the role, then maybe I'll think about it. But usually I'd like to say no, because it's like I just don't think that's fair. Like I have a friend of mine, he's a director and he's Sri Lankan, and he had a script, and I think he asked me, he's like, so I've been pitching it to a few like production companies and stuff, but they're like, why don't you just cast an Indian girl? So he's like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, no, find a Sri Lankan actor. Like this, it's, you know, a lot of times, and this is what bothers me, a lot of times where like, and you know, it's just like people just aren't aware, or they're ignorant, and fine, but you know, people don't know the difference between north of India and like south of India. People don't know that, you know, like the South Asian culture is so broad that it's not everybody eats curry or like papadums or something every day. Like, and all of our languages are so different, and that's why I'm like, no, I don't want them to feel like, you know, Indians and Sri Lankans are the same. We're different people. I'm sure there's like some aspects of our cultures that like overlap, but you know, I know I have some Sri Lankan friends who get really upset when someone says like, are you Indian? So I like to respect that, unless they genuinely think that. If they give me a solid reason, like, no, we want you for it, then I'll think about it. But otherwise, I'm like, no, I'd rather you find someone who's more authentic.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. So I always like to ask how people feel about it. I don't know. To me, like, especially in like the South Asia, even if you were to play like a Middle Eastern character, I personally like, I don't know why that would. I guess, you know, it depends on the people that are from a certain place or something like that. But like, if you play like a Muslim or something like that and you're not Muslim, like, to me, I don't really care, as long as someone said. We interviewed a director one time, someone who actually like worked with Amber on something she was part of, and he said like, if I've auditioned 2 people, and for example, he gave an example where like a guy who doesn't have an authentic accent acts as if he has a better accent than the person who really does, he's gonna take the person who acts like he has the better accent, because he wants to portray the right thing on screen. And I kind of like that, because it's like, I feel like at the end of the day, you're trying to tell the right sort of story with the right thing or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I see your viewpoint too, where it's just like, if there is a Sri Lankan person that is capable and good at it, then that makes sense. But like, if someone needs to be represented properly, and you know, there's
I think in this case it was like, oh, they need to fill this role, so let me just get a random, you know, Indian.
It just tells me that they haven't they don't really genuinely care. They haven't put thought behind it. So I so far, that except for commercials, but like so far as like films and stuff, I haven't had that issue to play someone I'm not.
And then like on like the spectrum of actors that are like, you see some that are super mysterious, they just kind of do their roles, you don't know who they really are in real life, to like the ones that are very vocal on social media, like about just, you know, everything in their life or what's going on in society or politically. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I think I'm in the middle. Like I'm not a huge. I don't like to tell everyone like, this is what I had for breakfast, this is my dinner. You know, we
already know, so you don't.
That's day and night dessert leftover. That's what I have. But in the beginning, I didn't even have social media. But like a lot of people, like, you're an actor, you need to have it. Like, this is how you get out there. And I was like, fine. So I was a bit resistant to that. And then, you know, I have it now. But I think for me, like this year, with like so much that's been going on, it's kind of made me realize that as storytellers, we have a responsibility to, you know, like to voice your opinion, or even just tell a story in times of with whatever's happening. So I think it's a personal decision, like how out there you want to be or not. But like, I feel like if you're an artist, like I feel like there is a certain responsibility you have, at least with the work that you're doing. It is commenting on like what's happening in today's world. If you don't want to be, you know, like as the person be talking about like, oh, like Black Lives Matter or like colorism, like that's fine. I do like to voice my opinion on that. That's just me. But I have some friends who have been quiet the whole time, but that doesn't mean that they don't care. They've been helping out other ways.
I want to ask, does it like affect you or annoy you if there's like a person that may have more attention on social media, but they're not like a great actor getting a role?
It does.
It annoys you.
It does. I have some, I feel weird saying friends, but there are some people that like I've noticed that, you know, have like a lot of followers and stuff, but I don't think as an actor, I don't think they're as good as an actor. But I also know some people who have a lot of followers who are actors, and they're not talented, but they're genuinely good human beings and they work hard. So, you know, if I can see that you do care about the craft, you respect it, you're working hard for it, I'm all for that. Like, but like, you know, other people that are just like, you know, like flailing on set and like not respecting like that upsets me a little bit.
We actually asked this same question to the director that we interviewed, and he was saying sometimes, you know, the actor or actress can bring a lot of attention to the film that previously probably couldn't. Yeah. And so there's the benefit of that.
Yeah, well, that's a huge thing. Like, I know sometimes, like, casting will always say, like, don't submit to this role unless you have 10,000 followers at least. So that, it does, that does upset me sometimes, because I'm like, I don't have that many followers. And, like, I had a friend of mine, she worked on a web series, and, like, all of them were, I think they were just, like, TikTokers. So, like, I don't know the correct term, but yeah, and she was just like, none of that, she was like, I was the only actor on set, and then after a while, she got, like, so many, like, people following her, and, you know, she's like, you know, I think they think that I'm, you know, a person who goes on TikTok and stuff, and then they eventually started unfollowing her, and it just upset her, like, they were only following her because they thought she was, like, I don't know, I guess for her lifestyle or whatever, not necessarily for her skills as an actor. So, sometimes that does upset me as well, like when they're looking for like influencers, you know, and I understand they're doing that to like get the work out there and like see how many people it's going to reach. But, you know, I always feel like a good story has the potential to get out there. So,
it's weird because everyone's like their own brand and stuff now. And it's almost like if you have that following, then there's going to be people that are going to watch it, and so it becomes a money game rather than like,
absolutely.
Oh, this person could definitely fill in that role. That's why it's even more important now that like, you know, you had an early start on writing your own stuff. That's really good. Are there any other sort of problems that you see in the overall like film industry that maybe you would want to see change in your lifetime?
Well, I want more diversity. And like you said, like, why should it be the South Asians creating our roles? Like, it would be nice to once in a while be given a role that is written for me. You know, it's like, so I've been producing some of my own work, and like, sometimes I'm just tired of it. I just want to like, someone give me a script. I just want to rock up on set and do my thing, and that's it. But yeah, I feel like it's almost like a battle for us to like, how do we get ourselves out there? Like, how do we, you know, tell our story? So I want there to be a time where, you know, it's the story, or even like the story isn't necessarily about a South Asian character. It's just, you know, it's just about this person and she just happens to be South Asian. Like, I want that as well. But yeah, so I think like a blend of both, where we are offered roles, like roles are created for us, but at the same time we're also offered roles, like they have like a few people from, you know, from a white person to an African American person to like a Pakistani, anyone, like, and it's open to ethnicity. So I hope that is also something that happens in the future too. Yeah.
Is it important for you to get like the coverage from India? Like, I saw that you've been in a lot of Indian press. So do you find it important to get recognition from India, or is it like just kind of like free opportunity to get your name out there?
It's not important to, I mean, it's great that it happens, but it's not like an objective or goal. if I sometimes have auditioned for a few projects in India, you know, if the opportunity ever lands in my lap, I'm more than happy to like work on the set there. But it's, for me, like, I just want to work and like hopefully it goes everywhere. And but I also, like, I do want to still be recognized as an Indian as well. So if the director or producers are able to get it, you know, in India, like that's great. But I think for me, it's also, I know a lot of my press lately has been like Australian Indian press, so like the press and media within Australia for South Asians. So that's important to me. Is I just want to be able to like, you know, encourage other, like, if there are any like aspiring artists here in Australia, like, you have to go ahead and like follow your dreams, because a lot of the times, like, there's not a lot of diversity, I feel, in the Australian industry. Like, we have a lot of like Indigenous actors, which I think is wonderful, but as far as like South Asians, I feel like I don't know any. Like, I remember when I was trying to cast for a film of mine, I couldn't find any Indian actresses. At least some that had like you know, a bit of like training. So I think for me it's just important to be like to encourage others out here if they want to be, I don't know, a singer or a dancer or a writer, actor, whatever, like, you know, go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Is there like a Hollywood version in Australia?
I don't think so.
So mainly everyone's working to try to get to like Hollywood or something.
Yeah, I mean, there is an industry here, but I think from what I've heard with certain people, like, after you've reached a certain point, I think if people are still hungry for more, they tend to like, they'll fly over to the States or to India. So like,
are there Aussie movies or TV shows?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are. I mean, I didn't grow up watching a lot of them, but but there is an industry here. You know, it is slowly growing, but again, like, I don't think it's diverse. Yeah. And I hope that there is diversity here as well. But I think it also could be because a lot of, you know, if South Asians tend to, maybe they don't want to sit back and try to make a name here. They're like, no, I want to go to India or the States. So I guess maybe that's probably why as well.
I got a weird question.
Yeah. Yes, I love weird questions.
Do Australians love Hugh Jackman because he's Australian?
See,
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm here always with these.
I love Hugh Jackman, yeah.
Because I remember, you know, I would watch him, he's Wolverine, and like he has the American accent, it's great. And then I heard him in Australian accent like 10 years later, and I'm like, what? You're Australian?
Yeah. No, they love, even like, Chris Hemsworth, Margot Robbie, like, I think... Because also, I think with Margot Robbie, she started off on a television show here in Australia, and then she ended up going to Hollywood. So I think...
I didn't even know she was 30. I thought she was like older for some reason.
I have no idea how old she is, but and I think we're huge advocates of like having Aussies being represented.
And you guys are like, you know, really supportive of that, right? Like, you guys are like, oh my god, that's an Australian actor, Australian actress.
Absolutely, like, yeah. I know I am, at least, but I'm pretty. Yeah, I think everyone else is as well. Yeah.
That's dope. Is there anything that you would give advice to like young and aspiring actors, actresses, whether it be that they're Indian, Australian, or wherever they may be? What's like the sort of things that you've learned along your journey?
Create your own content. That's number one. Yeah, because I think sometimes, like, you know, you face a lot of rejections, like, you know, going audition after audition, and you know, or sometimes maybe you're getting typecasted as a certain role, and you're just like, yeah, but I'm not always the sweet best friend, or like, I want to play the punk rock star or something. So you know, to feel creatively fulfilled, like, I encourage you to write your own roles, even if you don't have the intention of getting it out to festivals, but do it for yourself, because like you need that, like your soul needs that. So yeah, write your own content, and you better be thick-skinned, you know, like, if you're not able to like take criticism, if you're not able to like, you know, take 1,000 no's, like, this isn't the place for you. But you know, but at the same time, like, make sure this is the thing that gives you joy. Like, just remind yourself, like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Yeah, like, I have a friend who got a degree in acting, and now is like, I want to go into business. I'm like, okay, great. But like, he was like, I'm not excited like picking up a script anymore when I get auditions. Like, it doesn't excite me. And like, but for me, I'm like, no, I love it. Like, I can't wait to be on set again. I can't wait till I get an audition. So if that zest or like, yeah, if that feeling's not there, like, it's okay to be like, hey, I tried and it's not for me. So don't feel like, you know, you went on this path and now you have to do it. Because there's a lot of ups and downs. Yeah.
I know it's coronavirus over there and all over the world, so you probably haven't been able to do as much. But how have you guys been handling that? Is there still auditions and everything going on, or what?
So I know, like, in terms of like network shows and stuff, like that's still nothing's really happening. But in terms of like commercials and like lower budget things, they are happening because it's easier to like have a smaller crew.
Yeah.
I haven't been auditioning as much because I'm over here. So, but if it's like voiceover stuff or things like you can film at home, or like there's a lot of Zoom plays and things going on, web series. So I've been able to audition for that. But like in terms of like on-set stuff, it has slowed down for me. But I know like I have some friends that are still like auditioning in LA and stuff, but it's not picking up as much as I think we would all like to.
A little question relating to that. Do you like audition for like everything? Like you mentioned, you know, plays and stuff like that, or like you only do just like films and commercials and TV?
I mean, I audition for everything, but like with my agent, they might just, if they feel like I fit a certain role or type, they'll only submit me for that. But that's just me. Like sometimes I'll do it for more experience to like. Yeah, but I'm open to both. Like
other things, like what, like, you know, you mentioned voice acting and all that stuff. Like, what are some other avenues that you want to try and stuff?
Well, theater. I feel like I haven't done that in a while. So in Australia, when I was like, you know, studying or like doing classes and stuff, it was a lot of theater work, and so I kind of miss that, like being on stage. So if I would love to, like, you know, pick up a play and like do that again, because it's been a lot of film and television for me. That, and I want to do more voiceover as well. I've done a few things, but it's like I don't know, just it's kind of fun, like especially if you're playing a character like an animation. It's like just going into it. That's like really exciting for me. Yeah.
I know you said you're kind of here and there with social media. Where can people find you? Are you on IG or Twitter or anything?
Yes. I am on IG.
People want to follow you.
Yes, people can follow. Do you want me to say my IG?
Sure, we'll put it in the description, but you could say it as well. Or you want to shout anything else out?
If you want to follow me on IG, it's Ria, RIAA _177. I don't use Facebook as much, so but like if you want to find me, so that's where I'm at. So I don't know if people want advice or they want to connect with me, or like I'm totally open to that. I get excited when like sometimes actors reach out like, hey, like, can we talk? Like, I loved what you did there. So like that's always exciting for me. So
that's really cool. We really enjoyed talking to you, and your story and everything is awesome. We're wishing you, the best of luck going forward.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun talking to you guys. And actually, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
I feel like I should have really thought about this, but since it's called Strange Flavors and you guys you have ice cream on your cover art,
what's about to ask us our own final question?
Why'd you? Wait, what is your question?
I didn't know this.
Go ahead.
But yeah, what's your favorite? I guess ice cream flavor, or like a dream ice cream flavor that you'd want to have.
Close.
Or, yes.
What do we do?
What?
A dream ice
cream. Should we tell
flavor.
her?
Yeah.
Just answer
what?
it.
We'll answer and then we'll ask our question.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is mint chocolate chip.
Okay.
Ice cream, yeah.
I'm going to say what I feel like having right now, and that's a Reese's peanut butter cup ice cream.
Sounds so good.
Amber.
And Amber.
All right. I'm going to go froyo.
Yeah, I love froyo.
Euro tart and cake batter, crushed peanuts,
and Vegemite,
a little bit of whipped cream, and maybe like one Sour Patch Kid on the side, so I can like.
I love the one Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah, just one Sour Patch Kid.
Just one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What flavor would the Sour Patch Kid be?
Blue.
Is that
Blue.
Okay.
Blue or
They
red.
have flavors?
Blue or red.
I thought they're just colored differently.
Well, I don't know.
They're flavored
They're
differently
flavors,
too.
yeah.
The
But-
red one does not taste like the yellow or the orange one.
Yeah. However, Ria, we're not going to ask you what your favorite ice cream flavor is.
Okay.
We're going to ask you if you could describe yourself in any flavor, what would it be and why?
Is this ice cream flavor or just a flavor?
It doesn't
in
have to be
general?
ice cream. It can
Any
be
flavor in
any
general.
flavor that describes you and why.
Oh, wow.
By the way, this is a question we ask to every guest.
Yeah. I would be. I am gonna go with ice cream. It's my favorite, like dessert. So
Sure.
okay, I would be an ice cream. I would. Okay, I've never had this ice cream, but I think I would be like a nice vanilla ice cream, but I would want chili in the ice cream because I'm very sweet.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Yes.
Hold on.
Oh, first the Vegemite, now this?
Hold on.
Wait. It's like a flavor in India. Like, have you ever had like chili ice cream? Yeah.
Chili? Like, as in,
Yeah,
like,
chili,
the beans
yeah.
and beef. Like, chili.
No, not that.
No.
She's saying
I meant like
pepper.
hot and spicy. Yeah, like pepper. Yeah.
Chili.
You're like, oh no. I'm not that strange. No.
I've never tried that, actually.
No. Yeah, I think it would
Spicy
be.
ice cream, then.
Well, yeah, but like, because I'm very sweet, but I think I can be like, there's like a hint of spice. Yeah, I actually have a tattoo, which is an ice cream, and I have like a little skull cherry in it, which is like, I'm very sweet, but there's a badass in me somewhere.
That's really cool.
So yeah, so I
I'm
think
gonna have to bill you for a therapist session just to get over the like mental
Chili
like
ice
feeling
cream.
of thinking about an ice cream that's chili flavored, not like spicy, but the other one.
oh no,
That's on you,
now that-
Amber.
No,
I didn't even
you
think
brought
of
me
that.
there. You brought me there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think.
Well, okay. She's the vanilla cherry ice cream. A little sweet,
Yeah.
a little spicy. We love
Yes.
it. And she has a tattoo of it. She's always telling her own story anywhere she can. That's Ria Patel, everybody. Ria, again, thank you so much for being here. It's been an amazing conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
And for everybody listening, it's been another week.
Another flavor.
A little less stranger.
We'll talk to you next time.
Heavy headed when I'm developing flow, so you better get to stepping whenever I let it blow. Cause I'm burning mics on purpose. The word is the kid spitting, he's rich, leaving the murder.